Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Odom Outdoors. We're out off Marathon, Florida today, doing some lobstering. It's mini season. We just finished up day one. We finally got our limit. It's about 1 o'clock or 1:30. Had to work for him today. It's pretty windy out here, but got a couple of big ones, big dogs there, and a few crabs. These spider crabs are delicious. If you've never had them, they're good. Check them out. We got 42. Stay tuned. Check out how we catch them.
So this is really cool. This is the gun that I actually learned to spearfish on, and the gun that little JD took his first fish last year. And this is Hunter's first fish that he's ever shot with a spear gun. It's cool to see the tradition keep going.
Nice, you got him. Get him? Yeah, hang on, I don't know where yet. Hold him up, hold him up, hold him up! Woo! Is it neutral?
So we went down looking for lobster, and he just had his eye and a little bit of his gill
This is Hunter's first fish ever shot, by the way.
showing, and I didn't know if I could take the shot, but I took it and I got my first fish.
There you go. First red grouper, first ever fish shot
First
with a
ever
spear
fish
gun.
shot.
Yep, nice little red grouper. Small, but he's a keeper. He'll work. Good job, Hunter.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
So Joanna and I have been diving together for most of our life, and I forget how seamless it can be. So this hole had a ton of little Swiss cheese type bottom, and we were able to work together to kind of get these guys in the boat. And as you can see, there were lobster everywhere. Now this looks really impressive, but remember that a lot of these guys are shorts, so we're really just taking our time, making sure that we're going through the entire spot and getting the legal guys out of this without disturbing everybody else.
There's little JD and Hunter in the water over top of Jen and Joanna. Hopefully they're on them, getting some bugs. Go ahead, dump them, buddy.
Okay.
What do we got? 5, 6, is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 7. They measured them, buddy. We're good.
Why are you putting them on the seat?
You want to show them how? Yep, that's a keeper, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We're gearing up for the next spot. Let's see what that one holds. Rainbow there. And bugs in there. This is me trying out a new lobster net. We just got this net for this trip. It was off of FloridaLobsterNets.com. Brooke Christ makes these. She hand makes them all. I don't know if you guys ever watch her on YouTube, but she's definitely worth watching. Has a lot of good lobster content. I'll say one thing about these nets. They definitely do work. Sometimes a little bit too good, because the one issue I have with them is if you set them down, they can be hard for me to spot, even as the diver, just because they blend in with the bottom so good. They're clear acrylic, so they're pretty much camouflaged on the bottom. A lot of times you'll see us just shove a lobster in a bag. That's because we know it's legal. We don't have to measure it. It's big enough that we know it's legal, but if you see us measure it, that means it's borderline, and we're unsure, so we always measure them if we're unsure about them.
So you can see here, Joanna's kind of working the spot, picking out the biggest lobster, and then again, trying not to disturb the other ones.
This ends up being a spider crab I pull out of this hole. We got a few of these on the first day. We didn't find any on day 2, but we got several on day 1, and they are absolutely delicious. I actually like them better than the lobster. Here's Joanna catching another nice one. Her and Jen have been lobstering their whole lives, so they're really good at it.
It should be noted how hardcore my sister is right here, because she is approximately 22 to 23 weeks pregnant, and there was no way that she was missing a lobster season. Dad would have been proud.
Spot number 3. Get over there. This is a Bahama sea star, also known as a cushion sea star. They're always really cool to find and interesting. The kids love looking at them, but one thing to take note, if you ever find one, do not bring it above the surface of the water. I know it's tempting to bring them out of the water real quick for a photo, but if you bring them out of the water, something happens to them and they get air introduced into their system and they're not able to sink and stay on the bottom then. This is my nephew Hunter, diving down and getting one. He ended up doing really well on this trip. One of the systems that we find works really well when you're
lobstering with kids or people that are inexperienced in catching lobsters is if you have one experienced person on scuba gear and he or she can tickle the lobsters out of their holes and out into the open. That way the inexperienced people can snorkel down and net them up. You see here, little JD gets one after I tickle it out for him. Struggles a little bit getting a hold of it there once it's in the net, but he gets it and heads to the surface. This is a little red grouper here in this lobster hole. Lots of times you'll find groupers, snappers, and other fish around the same structure. You find the lobsters, they all like to hide in that structure. Here I'm tickling out another one for little JD to dive down and get. If you can get them away from the structures to where they're out in the open, it's real easy for the people to dive down and get them. You can see here he gets him, but he has some trouble getting a hold of him once he gets him in the net. If you use that tickle stick and kind of sweep the tickle stick along the net to where it traps the lobster, it's real easy to grab them. They don't have any room to swim around in the net then. Here's Hunter getting another one. You can see here he didn't have a tickle stick, so he kind of had to chase the lobster around in the net to grab it. So I don't put any of the misses in the video, otherwise we'd be here all day. This is one I tickle out, little JD dives down and gets it, but you can tell we're pretty frustrated at this point. There's been a lot of misses. But he does a really good job netting it, and then as you can see here, he sweeps the tickle stick across the top of the net, grabs the lobster, heads for the surface. He does a really good job on that dive.
Much better that time, JD.
Let's go. Ready?
Here's a pretty good spot.
With my toe. This one was the one, honey.
I don't know.
All right.
All right, so we're at 24 right now. Let's see what we got going on here.
On the bottom of the net. 25.
25. 26. Careful, Hunter. Careful.
Alright, yeah.
7.
27.
Good. 28.
28. Hunter got one. 28.
29.
29. That one looks.
It does not fit. It does not fit down.
All right, maybe we'll call him later. 30.
That one looks pretty short. Doesn't fit.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Doesn't fit.
All right. What's that? 31. All right. 31 in there.
Oh, wait. Hey. Maybe 32.
Oh, how did he get way up there?
Got me.
Oh, that's a big one. Well, bigger. Bring him down. Wow, that thing's jacked. Don't hold him over the boat.
Never hold over the side, buddy.
How many lobsters do we meet?
32.
32. 10 more and we're done. We can make that happen. Alright, got it done in some tough conditions today. Windy, dirty water. Trying to get the kids on lobsters, but we got it done, limited out. Alright guys, Hunter here. My nephew's going to tell us how to clean a lobster.
Alright, so you start at the base of the head, you cut around the tail into the head, and then you flip it around, and you do the same thing on the other side, right under the legs. Then you can pull out their tail. You want to pull out the intestines. And then you'll grab one of their antennas, a little piece of the top of their antennas. And then, so you shove the antenna in the butt. And then you spin it around to hopefully grab their intestines. And comes out like this.
You don't want to eat that.
You don't want to eat that, and then you got your lobster tail.
There we go, nice clean lobster tail. It goes in ice until we're done with the rest. Alright, day 2 of lobster sportsman season. We pretty much exhausted all of our spots on the day 1 in the one area, so we're in a different area today. We got one coral head that's got about a half dozen lobster on it, so we're going to check that out. Go ahead, babe.
So this dive ended up being really cool. Initially, when I went down, I thought we had approximately 8 lobster in the hole, but it turned out to be a little bit more than that. And I don't know if you can really see it at this point, but that rock was pretty much hollow on the inside. These guys were huge. I had a really hard time getting my hand just around them to get them into the bag. This little red grouper, he was probably legal, but at this point I had lobster goggles on. He followed me throughout the entire dive and kind of kept getting in the way because he absolutely was looking for some lobster legs, if I had to guess, or some remnants that he could, consume. But he never goes very far throughout the whole dive. You can see here again my lovely grouper attempting to kind of get in the way, but he eventually decided to back out, at least for the next 2 to 3 minutes. You can see here in a second, Hunter dives down to give me an assist with the bag. I had Hunter, little JD, and I believe my sister Joanna watching from the surface as I was working on this head. At this point, I thought I was at least halfway done, but every time I would take a look in the hole or start using the tickle stick, I would see more that were up on the ceiling or in different places. This guy gave me a little bit of trouble, but he was one of the bigger ones in the hole, so most likely he had gone through a lobster season or 2. And here's my lovely little buddy. The red grouper got in the way several times on this dive. I really should have just tried to grab him in the net, but hindsight being 20/20 and all of that. At this point, I was up to, I think, 8 in the bag, and I just kept seeing more and more antenna, which was a fantastic thing to see on day 2. You can see that I ended up having to use 2 hands to get that guy in the bag. He was just so big and powerful. Yet again, I thought I was done and the hole was clear, but I ended up finding this guy on the backside in his own little crevice there.
All right, guys, first dive of the day was absolutely awesome.
What was it, babe?
It was a head that was hollow.
Big coral head.
Big coral head. So JD asked for 8. I think I got 9.
Guys.
Let's see.
Back on your side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hey.
Woo! Good
Hey,
job,
these guys
babe.
are huge. Like, I can't even get my whole hand.
Good size lobster. Getting it done in the Keys.
Woohoo!
Nice job, babe. Good work.
Alright, so how do we tell legal, Joanna? Take a measure, stick it at the bone between the eyes, don't grab the tissue between the eyes, and then it cannot go over the end of their shell. So you see this guy is really legal. He's a good sized lobster.
For the Keys.
For the Keys.
He's a good one for sure.
Woohoo!
Nice job. Toss him in. Put him in, buddy. Get the rest of them.
Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what? 7, 8, 9, look at that guy.
Good one.
10.
Okay, one of them ended up being short, but we ended up with 10 bugs in the first spot.
So after we found that really awesome hole, we kind of hit a dry spell. So we switched up tactics and moved to dragging. In this case, you're looking for single holes and you're not really going to see a whole lot of vertical structure. And in this case, we were in 15 to 20 feet of water. So we do what I call hammerheading. So you're going to dive down and kind of move back and forth in an S pattern. And when you see what looks like good bottom or a hole, you'll kind of dive in and check it out. As you can see on this video, you almost do not see the antenna on this guy due to all of the algae and everything. But obviously we could see the bottom and I could kind of see the hole. So I was able to just dive down and get him out. This dragging technique happened to be something that I've never done before, and it turned out to be incredibly productive. We were basically able to finish out our limit using this method.
Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen. Today we're going to be doing some bang bang lobster appetizers with some of the lobster tails. I already did five of them in there. We have 2 more left to do. So all you're going to want to do is have some good kitchen shears or scissors. And you're going to want to cut down the middle or the bottom of the lobster tail all the way to the butt there. And then you can kind of peel them open like that. Then you want to get your thumb in or a finger in along the back of their shell and just work it in all the way to the bottom, all the way down to the tail, and the meat just pulls right out. So one thing about Florida lobster that people don't like is Florida lobster molt their shell like a snake sheds its skin. That's the outside shell. On the inside, you see this orange part. That's the new shell that's growing, and you can even see it coming off on your hand sometimes. It kind of gets red or orange on your hand, and that's what makes them chewy. So most people don't do this, and depending on the recipe, we do or don't, but you can slice it down the middle here. And then you kind of skin it like a fish. You just want to be on a flat surface. And you're skinning it like a fish. It's a little harder than a fish because it's real easy to cut through that skin. But you can cut off a lot of that tough, rubbery shell that they're making underneath. And that's the stuff you don't want to eat. It's really rubbery and chewy, and that's why a lot of people don't like Florida lobster. The last thing you want to do is kind of cut these into chunks to fry them up. That's it. I'm going to do the same thing with this last lobster tail, and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, so I got all the meat out of the lobster tails. This is half all-purpose flour and half, cornstarch. And just because we've never tried it before, and I do like the Everglades seasoning, but I've never tried their fish and chicken, we're gonna try that today. So I'm just gonna season that. Mix it all up. And the lobster is going in there. Give that a good stir, get it all coated, and it'll be ready for the fryer.
All right, guys, so with the lobster appetizer, we're going to do a Thai chili sauce. This is about a half a cup of mayonnaise, a tablespoon of Crystal's hot sauce. You could also use sriracha if you prefer. A tablespoon of soy sauce, half a bottle of the sweet red chili, and half a lemon. Mix it together. I find it's best if you let it cool for about an hour and just kind of chill in the fridge before you use it. But it's one of our favorites for lobster and fried fish.
Alright, so the lobster's all out of the fryer. It's just an appetizer for some fish we got frying right over here. But I'm going to give it a try here. Not bad. And one more, just to make sure it's
Quality
safe.
control.
Yeah, make sure it's safe for everyone else. Huh. That's good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Good recipe. First time we made it, so we didn't know what to expect. But it's good. Alright, that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you watching. If you made it this far, we're just out here feeding some animals. My wife Jen is a wildlife rehabber. So we get little raccoons all the time, along with possums. You can see a little guy in there. And then what? We got some squirrels over here somewhere.
Got squirrels up here. Whoops.
We got squirrels there. So just one of the things she likes to do. The kids get to see all kinds of wildlife here in the garage while we're raising them up. She ends up with these little animals. Usually what happens is most of the time they come to us. They're just born. Sometimes they don't even have their eyes open yet. And they end up, she ends up raising them up. And they go to another rehabber before they get released in the wild. So pretty cool, kind of fun to do, something different. But thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.